UFC 325 is just wrapped up, but I'm going to take a sec to give my thoughts on the co-main and the main event, along with a bonus thought on a fight earlier. And I don't know, just digest what I noticed and what I think will be lingering moving forward. Obviously, to start with the main event, Volkanovski got it done. It was not the most exciting fight, but it was compelling merely because he's getting older. He's in home court, and every time he got a good strike, every time he pushed the pace, pulling a ghillie no less, and was at round two, the fans were behind him. Clearly, he is a legend of the sport, and I picked him to win this, obviously by TKO, and he got the decision. But nonetheless, he got the job done. It was a lot closer than their first fight, and he got dropped again. They didn't acknowledge it, but he got hit with like a short right hook, and I believe it was like round three, round four. But nonetheless, strike-wise, 112-74, 98-70. It was close. He got the job done. He seemed to always be a little ahead of Lopez, and it didn't help with Lopez breaking his foot in the round five, which was probably the pinnacle round. But my thoughts moving forward are just what is going to transpire for Mr. Volkanovski. He doesn't seem to be injured. He didn't take a lot of damage. He got dropped. His eye seemed to bother him around, like, was it round two, round three? But for the most part, he did what he needed to do. He played his distance. He ran the jab, stand switching, mixed in some wrestling. Like I said, pulled a ghillie, because why not? Taking notes from Dustin Poirier. But, I mean, where does he go from here? He got a win against a guy here. He had a win that was more convincing than the first time than the second time. But there's not going to be a third time. Hopefully not. And he called out Mozar Evlev. He called out Lerone Murphy. And then you even have Gene Silva calling him out, this and that. I don't know where Gene Silva falls in the picture. But the reality is, the rumors suggest this is going to be the main event for the London card, tail end of March. Evlev versus Murphy. Most likely a number one contenders matchup. But it makes me think, where, like, Volkanovski, his legacy, like, what does he do from here? I mean, he wants to be active, and that's clearly going to be something he's going to push for, assuming he has no injuries like the first time around with Diego Lopez. So was it like I don't expect him to want to wait until like September, August, etc. And if these boys are fighting in end of March, that means they might not be ready until, like I said, close to the fall. So it makes me think, what is Volkanovski like? What does he want? He only has like probably two or so fights left, hopefully this year, and then he can call it quits. And it's just it's a question of like, are they going to feed him a Gene Silva? Because why not? They love Gene Silva, this and that. And Gene Silva is a very dangerous fight for Volkanovski. Are they gonna feed him one of these boys that they don't like in the first place? And that's what Volkanovski wants, because it's for legacy. And he should be able to pick his last fight or two within reason. He didn't get to pick this fight, so throw him a bone. He won. He did what he needed to do, and he's on his last hurrah, like I said, his last stand. So like, I don't know. There's a lot of uncertainties. Where's his direction? And then obviously you have Arman calling him out and this and that. But it's going to be very interesting, again, assuming he has no injuries, as to what's the direction he's going to do. And will he be active like he claims he usually is active when he doesn't get injured. So is he going to be able to get two more title fights in this year? I think that's going to be a big storyline, because if he can keep winning and go out on his shield, retiring at the end of the year with 3 title defenses this year, it's really going to help with his legacy and really stamp approval of where he stands in the echelons of the greats. Going on to the co-main, and I said this, I'm going to say it again. Benoit Saint-Denis is like the second coming of Justin Gaethje, and coincidentally in the same weight class. But this guy is a mauler. This guy has no breaks. Round one, he was pushing these sloppy takedowns, constantly getting in Hooker's face, and Hooker was cracking him with body kicks. Hooker was cracking him with jabs. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where he didn't put, like, even into round two, it felt like Hooker was like slowing down a bit, and next thing you know, like, Hooker, because he has no IQ in the fight game. Next thing you know, he goes for a takedown, gets reversed, and once the reversal happened, he took, like, 30, 40 unanswered elbow strikes, probably 50 at that point. And yeah, I mean, this dude is just a mauler. He goes for, like I said, he goes for damage, he goes for broke. He pushes takedowns. He pushes striking on the feet. He pushes ground and pound. He chases submissions. He was going for submissions all over the place on Hooker. Kimuras, straight arm bar, was it arm locks? I love this man. And again, the only asterisk is going to be he goes a little too much for broke, that he leaves his chin out there. He was taking a lot of body teep kicks and this and that. So I don't know how he would do against like a Ilya Taporia or even a Justin Gaethje, where these guys have enough power where they're going to crack him. And as we saw with Dustin Poirier, he gets cracked. But he's the second coming of Justin Gaethje. I think there's no denying that. He doesn't seem to be slowing down, even as he gets closer to that top 5 and the elusive top 3 and the whatnot. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he's pushing the pace, and he knows he's comfortable with the grappling, and he knows he's going to eventually get the takedown, it seems, against most of these guys. And he knows he carries power too. So I love it. Keep pushing him. Hopefully he can finally. He called out the BMF winner next month. He called out them. He called out, was it like, I think, I don't know if he called out Connor. He called out Ilya, and he even said he'd take Arman. Him versus Arman would be a very fun fight. Very, very risky for Arman, but why not? But I think it was a great performance. They didn't get the fight of the night bonus, which is kind of, I mean, I guess because it was kind of, for the most part, one-way traffic. But yeah, and my last 2 cents, and this picture sums it up. These boys looks like they just went through the marathon. They look like they went through well, they look like they went through 5 rounds, but they only went through, 15 minutes? These boys, especially Tai Tuivasa, he's given me like flashbacks to when Greg Hardy was having an asthma attack and took the inhaler. Was it between rounds 2 and 3? Ended up getting disqualified after, when he could have won. I don't know what is going on. I mean, yes, it's heavyweights. Yes, they're FUPA boys. They're fat Fs, but fat fucks, whatever. But I mean, it was so bad. And the craziest thing was, I thought it was so crazy, the dichotomy of like these boys went, and then right afterwards we got the lightweights and Rufi and Fiziev, and they were doing this technical stand up and constantly striking, and they did not gas it out. And these boys, Tai Tuivasa was gas going into like round 2 after getting. He didn't do anything. He was just stuck on bottom. And on the flip side, Teixeira was gassed by the 3rd round, and he spent the whole 2nd round on pretty much full mount. I mean, Tai Tuivasa would have won the round 3 if it wasn't for the fact that every time he rocked Teixeira, he would then just like revert to body lock, laying him against the cage, and then go for another strike, and then do that again. And it was like a cycle where he would need like 30 to 40 seconds to like charge his attack power, then throw a strike. But at that point, the strike didn't have that much power to begin with. And Teixeira was like on his feet at one point, or probably more like 3 points. And I don't know. It was very sloppy. And it's kind of crazy to think that that was like the pinnacle of, heavyweights. I mean, Teixeira's 15? Ty's 6-fight losing streak is number 12. And these boys literally might have had an asthmatic attack if it wasn't for the fact that neither one of them could really finish the fight. I don't know. It was pretty bad, but I'm gonna be an alternate opinion and say that I think you need one of those every so often on the UFC card, just to kind of like get the fans to be like appreciating a technical fight when you see Fiziev and Rufiev right after that. But that was my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Was this a good card overall? And what do you think Volkanovski's next? What do you think's next with Saint-Denis? And yeah, I mean, and if you liked it, obviously like the video. And I'm actually drop a video. It's been on my to-do list later this week. It's gonna kind of go over the topic of activity, because I think Dan Hooker, he's gonna be featured in this video definitely. Because you think of activity, that's a large component of being a successful UFC fighter. But there's gives and gets to it. And I'm gonna kind of explore kind of like the pros and cons of being very active versus not being very active. And I was going to use Dan as just a preview of this video, because Dan is a crazy man for getting a beating by Arman only like 2.5 months ago, was end of November. And then he takes another beating by Saint-Denis. Like, I don't know what he's doing. He's just slowly tripping out of the rankings. He's taking more and more damage. And I don't know. He's a crazy man. It was very dumb for him taking this fight, but it is what it is. But keep an eye out for that. Maybe drop it around Tuesday or Wednesday. Trying to do some creative stuff since we got no more numbered events for 2-3 weeks, I think. So, yep. Like, subscribe, comment, and see you soon.